Welcome to Double Trouble.
2 watches,
2 ways.
DOXA GMT,
DOXA
Caribbean
GMT,
blue.
yellow and black.
Oh, you don't like it?
I like yours better, man. What are you gonna do?
Whatever, you bought it, man.
Yes, bro, so did you.
All right, let's check it. Two watches, one video. And in this video, we're going to be talking about DOXA. And not just any DOXA, but the DOXA GMT. 2 ways, 2 flavors. DOXA only released one GMT in its line in recent years, at least. I don't know if they ever did in the past, but in their basically 300 line. Ultimately, it's the 750t portion of the line, but if you know DOXA, you know the DOXA 300. Their GMT was great. It's basically the same watch, but with the GMT complication, and it has 2 crowns. One of the crowns is the standard crown at 4 o'clock, and the other crown actuates an internal bezel for the 24-hour scale, and it's got a pretty cool GMT hand skeletonized, and I love it. I tried to find one of these forever and a day, and they have 4 color schemes. The first one, obviously the orange, classic. Then they've got black and orange, and then they've got blue and orange, that's my favorite. And they've got yellow and black. And they only made 1,000 total, so 250 in each color scheme. And they're pretty hard to get. They are highly desirable, highly sought after, and there's just not that many of them. A truly rarer watch in the pantheon of hard to gets. And the yellow one came up, and I bought it. It's my least favorite of the color schemes, but they weren't just coming up, and got it at a great price, so I jumped on it. And not long after the one I really wanted, the blue and orange came up, and I bought that. And I got that one probably at the more appropriate market price, but still a pretty good deal. And the bezel on the blue and orange one was a little jacked up. She'd had a life, and the coloring, that orange coloring in the insert, or the bezel itself rather, because there is no insert, it's all solid, was missing, faded away. So coincidentally, there was a 750t bezel on eBay at the same time, so I grabbed that. And of course I went on the internet trying to find instructions on how to swap these bezels, and there's a bunch of forum posts where, oh, you need a special tool this, special tool that, only DOXA can do it. Nope. It's the same protocol as swapping out the Omega Seamaster bezel. Check out that video. So I took some video of it, and I'm going to share that with you, how to swap that bezel. That's kind of a rarer need, because you can't really get those parts. I don't know how one ended up floating around on eBay for me to get at the time. I probably didn't need to change it, but I was like, what the heck, why not? And it looks brand new at this point. And I'm gonna let go of the yellow one. I'll probably list that for sale at some point, because I don't need 2. And now that I've got the blue orange Caribbean, that's the one I was really after, so I'm really pleased with that. These are big watches, these are heavy watches. Occasionally I write DOXA, just a nut writing letters. I write DOXA asking them to release a GMT in titanium. They have a couple titanium watches they've released over the years which were amazing. There's the base 800 titanium, which I think was the first. You can tell these ones by the 2 gas tubes going around the dial for the indices and on the handset. And then there was the Mission 31 DOXA titanium. I own that watch. I should not have sold that watch. At the time, I'd had some, weight loss, and that's totally changed now. Weight's come back. I had an opportunity to sell it at a profit, and I wasn't wearing it. I felt it was too big for my wrist. It's still a little on the big side, but these are purpose-built watches. They're meant for actual use in diving. So that's how I justify wearing a watch that's a little bit too large for me. Love the watch. Love the watch. If you are a fan of DOXA, check these out. They come up every now and then. Right now, the orange one is on chrono for 4,300. Way too much. Way too much. But every now and then they pop lower into the mid twos, high twos into the threes even. That's still a lot. I just wish DOXA would make it a permanent addition to their lineup, because they are a storied brand, heritage brand. They got a lot. You know, Jacques Cousteau, my main man Jacques, wore their watches. And that's actually the origin of the Mission 31. His grandson went with a bunch of other diving dudes and lived underwater for 31 days. And to commemorate it, DOXA did a special limited edition of this titanium watch. And I think 30 of them actually went on the mission, and then that was like a special subset of however many they made. I think maybe they made 300, something like that. Great watch, super lightweight. It's a large watch, but in titanium, wow, boy, does it wear comfortable. Titanium bracelet, everything. The stainless steel models it's a heavy Chevy. What are you gonna do? They're really cool though. I love it. And so when the Caribbean GMT came in, I shot it. You know, I'll show the footage. I shot myself changing the bezel and actually using the ultrasonic cleaner, because when the bracelet came in, it had some wrist funk on it. So if you're going to be buying used watches, get yourself an ultrasonic cleaner. You'll thank me. It's $30 well spent. And cleaned it right up. So let's have us a look at that right now. Here we have our bezel removal tool, and the die that is on here, that's under here, is the one that has the part number 39. We see this ends in a 10. For the DOXA, we want the part ending in 39. We're going to line this watch up with the crown in the channel, and on the GMT model, this is the crown. We've got it firmly in our left hand, and we're going to get this locked in. Sure we got that lined up. Good purchase. Now the left hand is going to go clockwise. The right hand is going counterclockwise. This hand is holding it in place, but it's going to add a little bit, and we don't want to over torque it. So we got good purchase there, and just kind of like like that. Simple as that. Here's the new bezel that I'm about to put on, and it's got the same construct underneath as an Omega bezel. It's got a click spring in there, but nothing else is too terribly special. Now, I'm sorry, the bezel spring. The click spring for the DOXA is here, and it is, let's see if we can get up in there. Let's see here. So, come on, focus. So it does have the ski jumps, which is standard fare. But one thing that is unique is that it has two nubs. Come on, camera. See, there's a nub on one side and a nub on the other. And those nubs seat the click spring in the position. There's a nub in 6 o'clock, a nub at 12 o'clock. Then there's that rather conspicuous inner ring with those little
detents. Not quite sure what that is. But that's what makes the click spring for a DOXA different than, say, a standard dive bezel click spring. So let us see about putting it back on. I'm missing one of my spludgers. Let's just get that rooted in there. And it is. Okay. And like we do with the Omegas, we seat the bezel, and then we're going to give a gentle push down motion of the insert, pushing it downwards while twisting it in the counterclockwise motion. So double check something. Yep, okay, this should be a piece of cake. Yep. And sure enough, it is. There you have it. New bezel inserted, piece of cake, and the only challenge here, obviously, parts. So if you can't get parts, you will be going to DOXA.
And there you have it, our first double trouble. Hope you enjoyed that. Quick little tour de force through the DOXA GMT model. Get a DOXA. If you're looking for a dive watch, maybe a Submariner alternative, a watch with heritage, a watch you could wear, you can actually wear while diving, pick up a DOXA. Love the brand, love their watches. ETA movements, super reliable, super robust, and they have a real wrist presence. And I have a 6.5 inch wrist. I can pull it off nearly, but it has a pretty narrow lug to lug, which helps it wear better on smaller wrists. It's not terribly tall. I'll put up the measurements, but those lugs don't go on and on, so they fit better on modest wrists. If you've got a wrist over 6.5 inches, have no fear, it'll wear just right. That's it for today. Hope you enjoyed this double trouble in this hobby of ours. All right, have yourself a good one.